audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can see the slide, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the third statement, condition statement that is there in C. I mean, there are two only, if and switch, but if has the variant if else, right? So if else and switch. So this is uh, a special type of statement where you make use of what is known as a decision variable. So switch has what is known as a decision variable, and it is also called as a controlling expression, and the variable is of type either int or char in C. So you can either use an integer variable or a character variable as a decision variable. Okay, but you cannot use double, so double is not allowed. And so this is the syntax. I'll tell you how it works shortly. So switch is the keyword for the switch statement, followed by parenthesis, and inside parenthesis you have the decision value. So that basically the variable is passed here. Um, and then you open the curly brackets, and within the curly brackets you have these statements written, that is case label 1 colon statements. Then you have one new statement, type of statement called as a break statement. Okay, it's a little complicated, so we just look at this carefully. So case label 2 colon, then you have the set of statements, and then the break. This can keep on continuing for n number of labels. So case label 1, label 2, label 3, and so on. And finally you have what is known as a default statement, list of statements. So basically, actually, the working of the switch statement will be clear with the help of an example. So we will replace this syntax, whatever is written case label 1, label 2, and decision values, with some data actually. Okay. So assuming that the variable is command of type int. Okay. There's a variable in your program command of type int. Okay. You pass it to switch. Okay. And based on that value, the value of command, it could be 1 2 3 and so on. So you have to write a program in such a way that it will be 1 2 3 or so on. Okay. So if it is 1, case 1, then the light is on. You're printing, this is the statement which you want to execute when the value of command is 1. Okay. And then you write the break statement. I'll tell you what it means. Then you say case 2, light is off. Okay, you have two cases. So suppose you are taking this command from the user and you're asking the user to enter either 1 or 2. Okay, so if user enters 1, then in that case the value you want to print this statement, the light is on. If user enters 2, you want to print that the light is off. Okay, otherwise for all other cases, you the switch statement will print this default case. Okay, so for any other value of command other than 1 or 2, it is going to print the default case, that is the error option that you see here, printf error option. Okay, so do you recollect the last example that we were discussing, the ATM example, right? We were giving a menu to the user where there were three options, right? The withdrawal, deposit, and switch, and the print balance, right? So you can use switch statement, and it is used very often for printing menus, for realizing menus where the user will choose one of the options, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, it's just another way of writing an if else. Okay, but it is special in the sense that this variable type could be only an integer or a character. So um, instead of this, you could also have a character. Character means something which is there in single quotes. In C, a character is something which is there in single quotes. That is A, right? One. This is also a character. This is not a character, right? This is an integer. Now, how it works is similar to if else only. So if this case is, so on this line number 3, right, it's checking for this condition. What it does is, what this case does is, it checks for a condition. Is my case equal to 1? Is my command equal to 1? Basically, is this command, whatever is passed to switch as an argument, equal to 1? If yes, then you print the fourth statement on line number 4, and then come out of it. Break. This break statement actually means it comes out of the block. Break statement allows you to come out of this switch block. So this is a block, right? Block means something which is enclosed in curly brackets, that is known as a block. Okay. So this allows me to come out of the block. Second case, again, if I'm right, so if this condition is false, that means command is not 1, then it checks for the second case. Okay. So is command equal to 2? It will ask this question here, right? So it's asking the question at statement number 6 here, case 2. Is command is equal to 2? If command is equal to 2, then it is going to print light is off. That is statement number 7. And then it breaks, right? Because you have put a break statement. And if both these cases are false, that means command is not equal to 1, it is not equal to 2, it will just check for the default. It will just go to the default and print the error option. That means you have entered something other than 1 and 2. Okay, this is how you write a switch statement. Now, this break statement that is there in the switch statement is optional. Okay, so even if you don't put this break statement, it will still work, but it will not work as intended. Okay, so on the right hand side, you see one example where we have removed the break statement from the first case. Okay, so after the printf statement, you have removed the first the break from the first case, case 1. Okay, so when you do this, what happens is, after, if you look on the flow diagram, at the flow diagram, so after printing this, it directly goes to this statement and keeps on printing this, whatever is there after it, till it encounters a break. So for example, here in the second case, there is a break, right? So what happens is, if suppose user has entered 1 as command, suppose command value is 1, then what will be the output of this code? It will be light is on, and since there is no break statement, it will not be able to come out of the block. Break statement gets you out of the block. Okay, so it will not be able to come out of the block, and that is why it's going to print light is off. Okay, and after light is off, it's ignoring this label, so it will ignore this label because you have forgotten the break here. It will ignore the label and print whatever is there in this also. Okay, it will print this, so the output will be light is on, light is off. So you can see light is on, light is off, and after light is off, there's a break. So it's searching for a break. The moment it finds a break, it is coming out. Okay, one more case. What happens when you forget the break in both the cases? If the command value is 1, then in that case, what will be the output? Can you tell me? If the command value is 1, command variable is 1.
Light is
Light
on,
is
light is
on,
off.
light is off, and error.
Error option.
All three prints.
All three will be printed. Very good. Okay, so you will notice here that after default, the statement which is there in default, you do not need any break. Why? Logically, why?
because it is default, उसके बाद कोई और केस है ही नहीं.
Correct,
loop
because
नहीं लगा ना.
that's the last case, right, which is there. Okay, and after that there is nothing to print, so it will automatically come out, so you do not need a break statement there. Okay, the only thing is you have to remember the syntax of this statement. That's a little tricky. Okay, so you need to practice this, write it again and again, and then it will come to you. The switch into brackets, into parentheses, the variable which is an integer, which usually is for a menu in your program, you can use switch. In case 1, case n number of cases, case space 1, case that variables commands value. Case is the word keyword, and then space the value of command 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever cases you have, whatever possible valid cases you have, and finally for the error cases you will have the default case at the end. Okay, and for each case don't forget the break statement at the end. Yeah, any doubts you have, or it's clear? Anyone has any doubts at this point?
Ma'am, if we
Yes.
put 2 in case 1, if we enter the 2 in case 1, then what will be the answer?
2 in case 1 means case 2 in case 1, you're saying?
No, in case 1, if we type 2,
Okay,
then what will be the result?
then 2 will be matched first.
Okay.
It will go in the sequential fashion. Okay, it's like
Yes.
your if else. If in the if else ladder, if you put the first condition as something which is not correct, I mean in the wrong order, then it will come out of it now if when it sees when that condition becomes true.
Yes.
So you have to be careful while writing. That's the only thing I can say. If you manipulate it in that way, it could be helpful sometimes. It depends. It depends on your program. Okay.
There's not much difference between if else statement and switch command, no?
Yeah, but in if else, the condition that you can write, it could be like two conditions, right? Two conditions you can write with an and or, so that variable, and you can have anything. So it could be your score. Your score could be a double type. No? The grade example, if you remember, the score, the grade was a double type or a float type. You can use that in the condition, but here I cannot use it. I can use only int and char in C. In some other languages, it allows you to use double as well, but in C, it does not allow you. Okay, that's the difference.
Okay.
Ma'am, so int, char, and float are allowed, right? Or
No,
only
int
int
and
and
char
char?
are allowed. Int and char.
Okay. Okay.
So the same thing, ATM simulation, you can write using switch as well. So that is what is shown here in this example. Okay. So command you're taking from the user, case 1, case 2. Can you correlate this with it now? Switch command. Command is the command that you're taking from the user, the option. 1, 2, 3, case 1, 2, 3, and default. Is this clear?
Ma'am, could you please run also a code of this kind?
Okay, right now I cannot run it because it's I mean this is an image. Okay, see, because actually I want to speed up and complete the loops. I'll definitely run it in the next class maybe,
Sure,
because
ma'am.
because I have, or maybe the next class will be Monday, but still, or maybe I'll give you the code, you can try and run it. That is fine.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. So these are this is just the different data that you are putting in. Still it is not working, now the flaw with this code. There is no loop. There is no loop, so you have to add a loop here so that it keeps on giving the menu again and again. So that we'll see in loops. Okay. These are some common error conditions in loop, errors in conditions. So you can write, this is not allowed. I mean, this is not correct. This is not the correct way of writing a condition, because if you want to write a range, if you want to write, it's a range, right? X, you're checking for a range. X has to be between 0 and 4. How will you write that if you want to write a range?
And operator.
Using and.
Yes, you have to use an and operator. You will say x is greater than equal to 0 and x is less than equal to 4. right? Two conditions using the AND operator. Again, what is the mistake in this?
Equality, double equal to.
Yeah, this operator is wrong. It has to be double equal to. What is the mistake in the last one?
It will go on till infinity.
No. There's no concept of infinity so far.
Ma'am, blocks will come. Two braces will come after it.
Yes, very good. Yeah. So braces have to come. There are two statements, that is why. Okay. Otherwise, this will be syntax error, because else you have written, it will try to find the corresponding if. It will not be able to connect this with else.
Ma'am, why A statement is wrong?
Which statement?
This X
A,
is less than
A
4.
statement is not a syntax error. What happens is, this is actually known as a logical error now. This is a new type of an error, the logical error. That means the code is not going to give you any syntax error. What is a syntax error? You are making a mistake in the syntax. Okay, this is not syntactical, because syntactically wrong, because the condition, this expression is valid. This is a valid expression in C. Okay, and what happens is, in this case, what it happens is, from right to left, it is evaluated, this kind of an expression. Okay, but so some values of x, it will work. Like, for example, x is less than equal to 4, it will work, and I mean, it will check for x is less than equal to 4. So that it will check, but this condition it will not check. Okay, see, because this is not the way you write a condition in C, that you understand for now. I'll tell you why this is wrong with an example when I show a code. Why this is wrong? Because this is not syntactically wrong. That is what I mean to say. Logically, it is wrong. That means while running now, when you enter some value of x, like between x and 0 and 4, for some values it will work. For some values, it will still give you some, that it will still print that the condition is true, because it is going to check for only one of these conditions. It will not check for both the conditions. Okay, that is what happens internally. It will check for only one of these conditions. It will not check for both the conditions. So I want to show this by showing you one example program. I'll show that later. Because of less time, I'm just switching to loops right now. Okay, these are some this is for your homework. You can try it yourself. Okay, these are again some guess the output and all that. You just try this. I've uploaded the slides on Classroom. Okay, so we'll switch on to the next. You can see the slideshow or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can see I'm changing slides. You can see it.
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So in C, there are 3 types of loops. Okay, this PPT talks about assignment operators and loops, compound assignment operators. In the doubt session yesterday, I talked about that. Some of you were asking. Okay, so the 3 different types of loop which are available in C are while loop, do while loop, and for loop. Okay, so we will start. Okay, the compound assignment operators you must have used in the first program, some of you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So basically,
Yes, ma'am.
it's plus equal to, minus equal to. It's basically a combination of assignment and mathematical operator. Okay, so this expression that you see, example, look at the example, x is equal to x into 5. If you want to write it using the compound assignment operator, you simply say that you combine this and this together. You say star equal to. Okay, star equal to. Similarly, plus equal to. So it's a shorthand kind of a notation. Okay. Apart from that, you have other operators like increment and decrement operators. Okay. Increment means you want to add a single value to a variable. So if I want to write something like this, x is equal to x plus 1, I can make use of an increment variable x plus plus. So C provides you with an increment variable. There are two types of increment variables, pre-increment and post-increment. So what I've written right now is called as a post-increment operator. Okay. The other is plus plus x. There is a difference in which they work. Okay, the way of working is different, but for now you can use any in the loop. Okay, I'll tell you how they differ when I talk about operators. Please don't worry about that right now. I will talk about it. I'll come back to it, but right now I just want to talk about loops. So you can use this also if you want to increment the value of a variable simply by 1, either x plus plus or plus plus x. Okay, pre-increment is plus plus x because it's before the operand, that is x. Okay, these come under the category of unary operators because there is a single operand. Okay, similarly you have x minus minus and minus minus x, that is the post decrement and the pre-decrement. So you want to write the statement x is equal to x minus 1, you will make use of this. You can make use of these statements, these operators, minus minus. Okay, pre or post. This is about the compound assignment and the increment decrement operators. Okay, next is the loops. We'll start with the while loop. Okay, now every loop, any loop that you write in any programming language has 3 different parts. Okay, before I start with the syntax of while, we call it ICU. So what is the full form of ICU? It stands for each of the letters stands for something. Okay, I stands for initialization. C stands for condition, and U stands for update. Initialization, condition, update. Okay, these are the 3 important parts of a loop, of any loop that you write, be it while, be it do while, or be it for. Okay, if any of these is missing or you have written it in the wrong way, then your loop will not work as intended. If any of these 3 is missing, your loop will not work as you wanted it to work. Okay, there could be some problem. It could run, it could keep on running. Okay, for instance, it could keep on running indefinitely. So that is known as an infinite loop. Okay, that could be a problem which could arise because of missing of any of these. Okay, now let us see in the while loop how we actually use these 3 elements. Okay, so the condition is, the syntax is while is the keyword. Okay, into parenthesis you write the loop repetition condition. So this will decide how many times this condition that you write inside this this parenthesis will decide how many times your loop will run. Okay, and if there is only a single statement, which is seldom the case, you do not need to put the curly brackets. But if there are multiple statements, as usual, you need to put the curly brackets. Okay, so this is the syntax. Now where does this come? Where do these 3 things come inside the while? So in case of initialization, now when I'm talking about initialization, I'm talking about some variable, right? I need to initialize the value of some variable. So that variable actually is known as the loop control variable. There's a variable which actually decides how many times your loop will run. It is known as the loop control variable. Okay. So you need to initialize, you need to make sure that this variable is initialized before your loop starts running. Okay. So before it enters here, you need to initialize the loop control variable before you write the loop. So in case of while statement, what you will do is you will initialize the loop control variable before you write the while loop. Okay. So how it works is, just look at this flow diagram. While this loop repetition condition is true, you keep on performing these steps in the order in which you have written it, in a sequential manner. So B followed by C, and then it will keep on running. The moment this condition becomes false, it will come out of the loop. So the loop will keep on running till the condition, while the condition is true. The moment the condition is false, it will come out of the loop. Okay. Now let us see with this ATM example. I want to repeat the menu. How will I put in while? Okay. So here, this switch that I'm writing, or if else that I'm writing, will come inside the while. Okay. So this while, this is the structure basically.
Ma'am,
Okay. Yes.
ma'am, you were going to tell something about that int main void wala part.
I told you ignore it. You can write it this way, or you may skip this. This void means that there are no arguments. Okay. But most compilers allow you to write it without void. Okay. This is just a stricter way. It's you can say it's a stricter way of writing the code, you can say. Okay. There, I told you there are two variants of main. One is this the plain main, and one is using command line arguments, right? I told you that. So for command line arguments, instead of this, you will have some arguments here. Okay. Just remember for now that void is simply, it means that your function is not taking any arguments. That is the meaning of void actually. Okay. When we talk about functions, now we will talk about the void type, return type. Okay. It simply means nothing. No value, nothing is there. Void means nothing, right? Literally also it means nothing. Void, there's a void. Okay.
Yes.
So while is the loop. So while into parenthesis, the condition. What is the condition called? It is called as the loop repetition condition. Okay. And inside that, whatever you want to do, that whatever you want to repeat basically, that you're going to write. Okay. So you need to repeat, in this example, you need to repeat the process of taking data, right? You need to repeat the process of taking data from the user. So that is why you're writing that switch inside while. Okay. So you will see in this complete example what I meant by the loop control variable. So loop control variable is the variable which actually decides or controls the working of your loop. Okay. So command in this case is the loop control variable, because command's value will decide whether you want to keep running the loop or you need to stop. Okay. At some point you want to stop, right? So in your menu, there is a special value called as exit for command, that is 0. Okay. So you want to stop running this loop, or you want to stop giving the options to the user when the user says stop. Okay. And the value for that is 0. So that means you are saying press 0 to stop the menu. Okay. Or to do with your transactions, to complete your transactions, whatever. You stop your transactions basically. Okay. So this command is known as a loop control variable. So I told you 3 parts: initialization, condition, update. So initialization has to take place before you write the loop, before you enter the body of the loop. So that is why you see here the arrow, initialization, you are taking command from the user and command is getting initialized, right? How do you initialize a variable? There are two ways. Either you use the assignment operator, you say command equal to 3. That is one way. The other way is use scanf. To initialize a variable, there are two ways. You either use the assignment operator or you use scanf. Scanf will automatically initialize it, right? Whatever user is entering, it will be saved in that variable. That variable will be initialized to that. Okay. So now you enter the body of the loop. So the condition, of course, the condition you have to place in case of while, it is there first only at the beginning of the loop. And this is the syntax which you need to follow. So you say while into parenthesis, the condition, and then into your curly brackets, you are placing this, whatever you have to run. Okay. Now, this is the first statement. So user will do whatever the user wants to do. And then after that, what you need to do? You need to ask the user what is the next command, right? You need to ask the user to enter it something again, right? Otherwise, what will happen if I don't ask this? If I don't ask this, this statement is not there. What will happen?
It will continue to run for infinite times loop.
Yeah. Why will it continue to run for infinite times?
Because it is not getting updated, the command value, because it will be
Correct.
one, it will be one forever.
Suppose user has entered 1 at the first instance, so it will go inside the loop, right? Command is not equal to 0. It will go inside the loop. It will go to case 1, do whatever is there. Okay. Again and again, it will ask you for deposit. Enter deposit amount, enter deposit amount. Again and again, it will ask that because you are not updating the command at all, right? So it will keep on running infinitely. So if you miss this, okay. So that is why you need to put an update. So the third part of the loop comes into picture here, the update. The update of what? The update of the loop control variable. So initialize the loop control variable, write the condition at the correct place, depending on what type of loop it is. In case of while, it is written at the beginning, and do the update. Don't forget to update the loop control variable. So this will actually make your loop run correctly. Okay. And then when you say enter command, and if the user enters 1, 2, 3, it is fine. If the user enters 4, 5, 6, something else, it will show error option, still fine. If the user enters 0, what will happen? Suppose at this stage user has entered 0, what will happen? It will come back, it will go back, right? It will check the command value. It will go back, it will check the command value. If the command value is, since the command value is 0, it will come out of the loop, right? It will come out and it will print, it will say return 0, it will stop. Okay. So how does the loop go? It goes sequentially till the condition is true. It will keep on running, right? It will keep on running depending on whatever. Now this will be one of the cases. It's like an if else inside a while, right? Or a switch case is similar to if else. When you draw the flow chart of this, you will understand. There are 3 possibilities, 3 or 4 possibilities that are there. Okay. And then there's one more statement which is taking the command. So there are 2 statements which are there inside the while loop. One is a switch statement, which is nothing but similar to if else. So you'll have a condition, okay. And then finally outside the condition, and all this will meet at the command. So it will take the command value and then it will go back. So flowchart you have drawn, right? You have done sum of n numbers or something like that, right? For the loop.
Yes, ma'am.
So in the case of a loop, it always goes back. There is always the flow always goes back to some point. Yes.
मैम आप एक बार ये कोड रन करके दिखा सकते हो क्या मैम? वो थोड़ा क्लियर नहीं हो रहा मैम, है ना concept थोड़ा मैम. Hello.
I'll have to write it because right now I do not have it with me. This is an image. That is what I'm saying.
मैम आप एक बार
let me check.
हाँ मैम, आपने अगर सपोज एक इंटीजर पहले डिफाइन किया लाइक i is equal to 5 और उसके बाद i प्लस प्लस किया और i माइनस माइनस किया, सॉरी प्लस प्लस i किया एंड i प्लस प्लस किया, तो उसका डिफरेंस कैसे मालूम चलता है एंड सिग्निफिकेंस कैसा रहता है उसका, आप एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो एक बार?
See, I will explain about the operators a little later. That is what I'm saying. In the next lecture, maybe I'll explain. Right
Sure,
now, I
ma'am.
want to explain all the three loops because you have a practical, na? That is why at least the syntax I want to finish in this lecture. Okay, let me see this program. Okay, it's not an image, so I have copied it. I will just share my screen again, just a minute. Just give me a minute, I'll share my screen again. I'll show you the running of the program. Okay, yeah. Okay. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I've pasted the program here. Okay, so this is the same program. While, okay, so while your command is not equal to 0, you are doing a switch command, right? Case 1, 2, 3. And then after that, you are taking the command value. So now I'll run it. Okay, first up, it will show the menu, right? It's following the flow of the program. It's showing the menu. Okay, so if I enter 1, it will tell me. So by default, I have to enter the option 1 only because I have 0 balance. Okay. So then again, it's asking. So what happens is I have run it once. It has taken, so it has gone to case 1, right? In my program, it has gone to case 1. It has run it. Now, if now again it's asking, so it's come out of the loop of the switch, right? Following this break, it has come out of the switch. And what is the next statement? The next statement is enter command number. Okay, so enter command number will read the command. So again, you are saying, suppose you want to check the balance. So the balance is 30,000, 30,000. It has updated the balance. You have written this statement, right? So current balance is 30,000. Then suppose I enter some other option, say withdraw. And if I say I want to withdraw amount 5,000, and if I check the balance again, it will keep on continuing. Okay. If I enter something else, error option like 4, 5, 6, whatever, then it will show error, right? And finally, when I say 0, what happens is this command value is 0, right? This command value is 0. So it will stop. Now what doubt you have? Whoever was asking. Okay.
Clear हो गया ma'am. Yes ma'am. Thank you ma'am.
क्या clear हो गया? I don't know. I was telling the same thing. Anyways, I'll switch to the
मैम
PPT. No, I know it becomes more real when I run the code. I know, but because of shortage of time, I'm not running the code. You understand that? Don't worry. Usually, when I teach this particular course, I teach it using coding on the fly. I never use PPT. PPTs I give to the students. Anyways, but we have to manage the time also, na, somehow. There's one more example here. Okay, so I will skip this example for now. I want to show the syntax of some other. I'll just skip this example for now. Maybe I'll revisit this later. For today's practical, you need to know the syntax. So I'm going to do while. Okay, so do while is you can say the counterpart of while, but in the sense that the condition is checked at the end of the loop. So what you are doing is, this is the other way of running the loop. So it is like you run all the statements first, and then at the end you check the condition. Look at the flow diagram on the right. You run all the statements. This is the loop body. So you run on the these are the statements in the loop. Okay, and then at the end of this, the last statement, you check for the condition here. Okay, and then of course, if the condition is true, it will go back and run. So it will keep on going in a loop. If the moment it becomes false, it will come out. So this is the flow diagram for do while. Now let us see the syntax. The syntax is do is a keyword, do while is a keyword together. So when you say do, if there's a single statement, that single statement you can write directly. You do not need curly brackets. Otherwise, you usually have a statement block in do while. So you have curly brackets, and then while. While is the keyword. While is the keyword. Inside that while, again you put the condition. The condition is a loop repetition condition. Okay, the syntax. Now, what is the difference in while and do while? First difference is that the condition is written at the end in do while. In the case of while, it is written at the beginning. It's checked for in the beginning. So even if your condition is false, at the very first instance, your do while will make sure that the loop will run exactly once, right? Do while is going to make sure that it will run exactly once. So this is an example. What does this example do? Can you tell me? Just go through the example. I'll give you 2 minutes to go through the example and tell me what will it do. Now you see something new here, right? Which we have not discussed so far. Interesting. What is this? You are trying to compare a character. What's the type of letter? It's a character, right? You are writing a comparison operator with a char type, okay? Which you have not used in the examples earlier. So char type is basically, I told you, it is 1 byte. And how is it represented? It is represented using an ASCII representation, right? So each character has an ASCII value. This, for example, capital A, each key on the keyboard has a ASCII value. This capital A, just for the purpose of this example, capital A, what is the ASCII value of capital A? Those of you who have studied about ASCII values earlier.
65.
65. Okay, so each ASCII value is actually an integer. Okay, so when you can use this is perfectly valid in C. You can use a comparison operator for comparing characters. Okay, and what happens is that character is converted into its ASCII value, and that value is actually compared. So the integer values are compared, not the character values. The integer representation of the character is compared. Okay, so when I say letter less than A, letter is the letter which you're entering. Suppose the letter user enters as B. Okay, So if the user is entering something like B, it will make a comparison. Is B less than A? Is B less than A? Letter is B. So what is
No.
66.
Greater.
letter is B, right? So B's ASCII value is 66, then 67 C, okay, and so on. So it is greater. So the first condition is false. Okay. What about the second condition? Is B greater than E?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. So both the conditions are false. So what happens is the condition has become false. This condition has become false, and it will come out of this loop, right? The condition, remember, whenever you're writing a condition inside a loop, it is a loop repetition condition. So only when that condition is true will the loop run. Okay. So this program, what it does is you enter anything from between A and E, B, C, D, that is B, C, D, the loop will stop. Okay. If you type like something like F or G, then what will happen? The loop will
It
continue.
will run.
And if there is some character, now I do not know, maybe some character which the user enters, which is having ASCII value less than 65, some other key on the keyboard apart from the letters. Okay. For example, numbers as 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So 0 has an ASCII value of 48. 0, the number 0. If the user enters the number 0, okay. Actually, letter has to be initialized. You do a scanf. I've forgotten the scanf here. How will you do the scanf? %C and address of letter, right? Before the do while, you require the scanf. This statement is missing. Okay. So 0 has an ASCII value of 48. Suppose user enters 0 or 1 or 2 or 3, something like that. Then what will happen? What about the first condition that you've written?
True.
It is true. It is OR operator, right? Any one of the conditions is true. The condition is true. The entire condition is true. Right? The entire condition is true. I don't even need to check for the second condition. So either if it is less than A, ASCII value is less than A, or if it is greater than E, then in that case, what will happen? The loop will keep on continuing. The moment user enters something between A and E, inclusive of A and E, both, right? Because it is less than and greater than, if you look at the conditions. A to E, anything user is entering, capital A to capital E, anything that the user is entering, then the loop will terminate. Okay. Remember, small letters have some other ASCII value. So small a has a ASCII value 97. Okay, B has 98 and so on. So if user enters A, B, C, D in small case, then what will happen? It will still come out of the loop. Oh, sorry, it will still keep on running the loop.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what happens once it is going inside the loop? No matter if the user has entered A. Suppose user entered A for the letter. It will go once inside the loop and then it will check at the condition at the end. That is how it differs from while. If I had put a while here, what would happen? The very first instance only, it would have stopped, right? But I do not need this scanf that I've written here. Actually, I do not need it. I do not need to put it. Why? Because the scanf is inside do while. Okay. If I want to write the while version of this loop, how will I write it? How will I convert this into a while version? Can someone tell me? I made a mistake again. That scanf is not required at all, actually, for do while.
Ma'am, for while it will be required, no?
Yes. For while it will be required. For do while it will not be required. Are you getting why? So I need to write that statement scanf whatever and letter, address of letter, and then inside After this, what will I do? I will write while this condition, whatever I have put, letter is less than A or letter is greater than E, right? What will I write inside this body? Again, I do a scanf, na? Again, I need to do a scanf, yes or no?
Just to update that, no?
Yes, this is for the update. If you remember the previous case, command you were taking before, command you were taking inside also. So initialization of the control variable, loop control variable for while takes place before, but for do while it takes place inside. That is the difference. So this is wrong. I do not need this. This is not required. This I'm doing inside the loop. Anyways, it's going to go once. And at the end, it will check. Are you getting the difference of the two? How it works? Okay. And finally, I think we are running out of time. I'll just share the syntax of the for loop. The third loop, that is a for loop. Now, for loop is a sort of a shorthand loop, a compressed loop that I can say, which puts all the three together in one statement only inside the parenthesis. So you'll see for initialization, semicolon, the condition, semicolon, the update. Initialization, condition, update. Okay, everything comes inside one statement in the parenthesis only. So for is a keyword, initialization, condition, update. In between you have semicolons, and then you have the statements. The statements are in curly brackets. Okay, so how it works is, it works similar to while. That means a condition is checked before entering the loop. In the case of for, condition is checked once before entering the loop. So if the condition is false in the first case, it will not enter the loop. It works, just remember, it works similar to while. Okay, so some examples are there here. First one is a very simple example. So you are printing n asterisk. Okay, so in that case, we're calling it count star, that variable. Count star is 0, count star is less than n, count star plus equal to 1. You need to keep on running the loop n number of times. What you're doing is you're printing n asterisk. So to print n, where n maybe you're taking from the user, or maybe n is a constant that you have defined. Okay, so in that case, what you will do is, you write the initialization, the condition, and the update. Count star plus equal to 1. Okay, and you're printing it. There's only one statement in the loop, that is you're printing the star. That's it. This first loop is easy for you to understand, or it's difficult? What is happening?
Please explain again.
Yeah, I will just explain the first loop and I will stop. Okay, so basically how it works is, you want to print n stars, right? This n is user defined. Suppose n is 5. And maybe you have taken somewhere from the user. Fine, n is you are taking somewhere from the user ahead using scanf, or you have initialized n is equal to 5, say. So what happens is, you do not know, it is not fixed, it's variable, right? This value n could be anything. It could be 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 2. Okay, so you need to go for a loop. If you want to print star n times, you need to go for a loop. Now, for how will this loop work? First of all, you need 3 things, right? I see you. So what is I and you see you with respect to? It is with respect to the loop control variable. Everyone agrees? Okay, the loop control variable. The loop control variable is count star in this case. You can give it any name that you like. Now it's just signifying that it is counting stars. Okay, initially I have not printed any stars. So what is the loop control variable? Initially count star has to be initialized it to 0. Then what will I do? Then I need to print one star. I'll print the star, and then after printing the star, I will say, okay, now I've printed one star so far, so I increment my count star by 1. Okay, so every time that I print a star, I will increment or update my count star variable by 1. Agree? Everyone agrees?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what I do, I print this star. So I print a star. So I'll have a print statement, something like this. What I can do is, yeah, your count star is equal to 0. Okay. Then what do? I check, is my count star equal to n? Then I need to stop, right? When my count star, I'll write CS. Is it equal to n? If yes, then I need to stop my loop. Yes or no? The moment I print n stars, that is 5 stars, I need to stop. If not, if it is false, if this is false, if this is false, then what do? I need to print my star. So I will write a print block here. So I'll say print star. Print star, right? The moment I print my star, what do I need to do? I need to increment my count star, right? I need to update. My body is done. I need to update. I need to say count star is equal to count star plus 1. So 1 star is printed so far. Once I print this 1 star, I will go back to the loop. Okay, and check the condition. Is your count star equal to n now? No, it is 1, right? It was 0, now it has updated to 1. Is it equal to n? N is 5. No, it is not equal to. So the condition is false. Okay, if the condition is false, it will keep on printing. Okay, and then it will come out of the loop the moment this becomes true, when the condition is equal to n, so count star is equal to n, and then it will exit the loop, whatever, exit, stop. Okay, this is how it is working. So remember, here in the flow chart, you actually write what? You have, what I have written here is the condition for stopping. Condition for stopping. I can write the same thing as count star less than n. Then what will be the case? If I change this condition, see, look at the condition. What have I written? I have written condition count star equal to n. If I change this condition to count star less than n, what will happen?
It will check till n. After that, it will come out of the loop.
No, I need to change
It will
this.
check till n minus 1.
No, I need to change the true and false now. I need to change the true and false on the branch. Are you getting it? If the condition, if the count star is less than n, if this condition is true, then I need to go inside. Then I need to go inside, right? I need to change the branch of, instead of false, I need to write true here, and instead of true, I need to write false. That is a change that I need to do in the flowchart. Yes or no?
Yes.
That is what I am asking.
Yeah.
So actually what you write in any loop is a loop repetition condition, not the loop termination condition. Remember that. You write that the loop will keep on running when that condition is true. It is called as a loop repetition condition. Okay. So it's simply this. This is how it will work. Everyone has got how it works actually.
Yes,
and any loop works the same way. Any loop, while or for, works the same way. Only for do while it's the other case. First it will run, and the end that condition box will be there. Okay, so that is how it is. And then second example is a factorial example, which I'm not discussing right now because you have to go for your next lecture. Okay, so I'm uploading these slides on Moodle. On your classroom, and you can take it from there, the reference from there, and start with today's practical. Of course, the logic of the codes which are there in the practical will be explained by the lab professor, because those problem statements will be different from the problem statements that we discuss in class. Okay, fine. So you all can leave.
Ma'am, I have a doubt regarding the post incrementer and prefix.
Yeah.
And
I will explain it. See, give me some time because I want to explain all the operators once with the associativity, with the precedence and post increment, pre increment. I understand your doubt. I know what doubt you're asking, but right now I do not want to clarify it because I want to tell it to the entire class. Okay. So next week, maybe Monday, we'll talk about it. Right now, you can use any post or pre, any will work inside while for anything, any loop, any of them will work. Okay, don't worry about the working; it will give you the same result.
ma'am, it is not giving the. Ma'am, can you please once look into the code that Ayush has written in the chat box?
Okay.
Yeah. The output is coming out.
Yeah. This is what you have done is you're violating the principles of C. This is known as violation of principles of C. The output of this code is undefined. It will, for different compilers, it will work differently. This is not, that is what I'm saying. It's this plus plus and plus plus whatever you have used. This is not the right way of writing the code. You will find many such examples. You will find many such examples all over the internet. But this actually is violating the principles of the C language. I'll tell you what it means. There's something known as the points. There are some points in execution of the C program, and there are some rules to be followed. Okay, so you cannot write statements in this fashion. This is not allowed actually. It will still, so the behavior of such a program is undefined. Okay, the behavior of such a program is undefined, and you will expect something and something else will come. That depends on, it's completely compiler specific. Compiler is allowed to do anything that it wishes to do. So different compilers will give you different results. Okay, so I'll come back to this code because I want to talk about this at length. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So don't worry about such codes. Such code, I will never ask you what is the output of this code because it is wrong according to me. It is wrong only, in fact.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes.
you will be posting these slides now only?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Thank you.